Now, all of this theoretical advice sounds great, but how do I sound? How has my Spanish really evolved or improved or not this year? Whew. Okay, I'm a little nervous. Hola, mi gente! Wait, is that how we're starting? I studied Spanish every day this year. Kind of, not really. Here is what happened. Before we jump in, we would like to thank our patron of the day, patrona del día, Teresa Garfink. You are our patron of the day. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. Our patrons are really the people that make these videos possible. If you'd like to support our work or just have your name said on camera in a video, head on over to patreon.com/Kinetic Kennons. Now, last year, I started off the year with big ambitions. I had the goal rather, of studying Spanish every single day for the entirety of 2020 to see just how much I could learn. Now, ever since we moved to Mexico, really before moving to Mexico actually, learning Spanish, being able to speak Spanish, becoming fluent in Spanish one day has been a goal. Not only to be able to order tacos and get directions when we're lost, but more importantly to be able to connect with people, to get to know people, to make friends, to build a deeper connection with people in our community, and to really get to know Mexico on a deeper level and to be able to kind of appreciate all of the things that make Mexico. So at the beginning of 2020, I was fed up and just ready to finally feel like I was fluent in Spanish. I wanted to increase my confidence when speaking with people or in certain situations using the language, and I finally wanted to learn what the hell the subjunctive was. Actually, I don't even know if I knew what the subjunctive was before 2020, but that's a different story. Before we jump into the lessons I learned this year, let's take a look back through the years at let's just roll the footage. Hola, me llamo Greg the Gringo y estoy aquí con mi amiga Frida. Hoy voy a hablar con un dueña de un restaurante aquí en Puerto Vallarta, México. Número 3 es la playa y las montañas. Puerto Vallarta es muy bonita y siempre hay algo que hacer fuera. Mi playa favorita en Vallarta es Los Muertos porque tiene muchos restaurantes y vendedores. Y también me gusta la playa Conchas Chinas, es muy tranquilo y no hay mucha gente. Ahora tenemos el estado, a mí este estado es difícil, es cerca de Texas y se llama Coahuila. Okay. I cannot watch that. I can't even think about watching that without cringing. I hate watching myself back in videos, even just when I'm editing, much less watching myself speak Spanish. Ouch. But at the end of this video, I will embarrass myself a little bit, try and speak a little Spanish so that you can decide just how much progress I have or haven't made throughout the years. And also, I'm going to share with you the most important lessons I learned trying to study Spanish, trying to study Spanish every single day during 2020. So I started off January really strong. Pretty common if you have a New Year's resolution, start January off with the most passion and motivation possible. I was reading every day, I was watching shows on Netflix, listening to music, just doing anything and everything I could to study Spanish and to immerse myself fully in the language. Now, I was doing pretty well. I don't know the exact streak, but I think I was doing pretty well up until March. Now, we all know around March, everything changed.
A dangerous virus is spreading rapidly in China, and U.S. officials are very worried that it could come here.
This brought my Spanish and my study habits to a screeching halt. I went from studying every single day to essentially failing at my goal of studying Spanish every day for the year during 2020. That was a difficult time for really the whole world, and really it was a difficult time to feel like I had any motivation to commit to kind of an extra side project. However, I didn't completely give up. I slowly got myself back into it around the summertime. I believe it was in June. I went crazy. I studied every day for hours and hours and hours. I'm not talking like I did a little Duolingo or watched one show on Netflix. I was taking 3, 4, 5 hours a day of one-on-one lessons. I was reading, I was listening to any podcast I could get my hands on. I was watching Netflix. 8 hours a day, at least, I was spending learning Spanish, fully immersed in the language. I guess except with Hillary. We were speaking English together at home. And I made huge progress. I during this time, I was really able to increase my confidence, learn a little bit about the subjunctive, I don't even know.
He can't say it in English.
That was kind of the kick start of energy, if you will, that I really needed to feel like, okay, this year during 2020, I can still improve my Spanish, even though I've already failed, if you will. I've already broken the streak. I kind of tapered off into August, September, October with a more normal routine, studying 30 minutes to an hour a day, still doing pretty much every single day. Not quite, I'm not gonna lie, we probably went to the beach a few days, had some cervezas, and maybe I didn't quite study that day. And I absolutely ended the year off on a terrible note. I don't think from Thanksgiving on, really up until now, I just have not found the motivation to practice, have not found the motivation to really spend the time in a formal studying practice or habit, if you will. So what are the lessons I learned during 2020 with attempting to study Spanish every single day of the year? And more importantly, what are the key takeaways for you at home so you can not commit my mistakes and hopefully learn a little bit faster than I have? Takeaway number one I had is something I realized pretty quickly on during the year, is that attempting to study every single day was probably a bit aggressive and really just put a lot of stress and pressure on me that really isn't necessary. I want to learn Spanish. It should be a fun endeavor. If you're trying to learn Spanish at home, it should be something fun and exciting, and really that's the only way you're going to learn, is if you're having fun. Kind of taking things to the extreme is my MO from time to time, a la running an ultra marathon. So my tip for you at home with that is to set aggressive goals, set challenging goals, but also be realistic. Don't set yourself up for failure, because I felt like, okay, well, I've broken my streak. I knew I wanted to film this video of studying Spanish every single day for a year, and I immediately, although for months I had made a lot of progress, because I missed one day, I felt like a failure, and that's really doesn't make any sense. So don't be like me. Tip number 2 is, I learned that with languages, you're going to get better at, let me think of the way to say it. You're gonna get better at what you practice, right? So if you use a ton of grammar worksheets and exercises, you're probably gonna get pretty good at grammar worksheets and exercises. However, for most of you watching this or interested in learning Spanish or another language, you just want to be able to communicate with people. You want to be able to order food. You want to be able to make friends, ask for directions. So what's the best way to learn how to better communicate in person, or not necessarily in person, but with your verbally, is to communicate verbally. If you want to get better at communicating verbally, communicate verbally. I know that sounds, it's not exactly the most mind-blowing advice, but don't spend so much time with your head in a workbook. You actually need to, whether it be take one-on-one lessons using something like Baselang or italki, or finding teachers in your area, or just going out talking to cab drivers, making friends with people on the streets. which is difficult if you don't speak the language, which is why we recommend some type of online tutor. If you want to get better, if you want to improve your listening skills, guess what? You need to spend a lot of time listening. Watch things on Netflix with subtitles in Spanish, listen to music and read the lyrics and really break them down. Use Translate if you need to and try and understand what they're saying. If you want to get better at reading, you need to read. So think about what your exact goals for learning Spanish are, why you want to learn Spanish, and attack what you want to learn. There's no, for most of you watching, it's a complete waste of time. I'm not a Spanish teacher. It's a waste of time to do a bunch of grammar exercises. Just talk to people. And last, I learned that committing to learning a language, attempting to become fluent, whether that be to teach at a university level, to work in Mexico, or just to have friends, is a lifelong pursuit. Contrary to videos you might see on YouTube, learning Spanish isn't a 30-day challenge. It's not something you're gonna do in a weekend, a week, a month, or even a year. It is really something that you're committing to for life. And really, if you want to learn a language, that should be the mindset that you take into it, is that it is something that is constantly evolving. You're constantly learning language. Myself, I'm still trying to talk good in English. So it's gonna take a while, and I feel like if you have a short-sighted mindset, if you have a mindset of this is gonna be something I can do in 30 days, this can be something I can do in 1 year, and then it's done, you're probably approaching the actual aspect of learning the language incorrectly. Now, all of this theoretical advice sounds great, but how do I sound? How has my Spanish really evolved or improved or not this year? Whew. Okay, I'm a little nervous. I'm gonna speak a little Spanish here with my good friend and my Spanish teacher on baseline, just to give you an idea of maybe where I'm at, if I've improved, if I haven't. Whew, let's see, hopefully he should call in just a second. Hola, jengibre.
Goyo, amigo, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, bien, ¿y tú?
Amigo, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, amigo. Feliz Año Nuevo, feliz Navidad, feliz Pascua, feliz, ¿qué más? Todo bien aquí en
¿Cómo
México.
estuvieron esas vacaciones en Estados Unidos, amigo?
Dime.
¿Cómo estuvieron tus vacaciones con tu familia?
Súper bien. Estamos aquí, ahí en Estados Unidos por como 20 días. Así que fue muy padre. Pasamos tiempo con toda la familia, con mi papá, mi mamá, mi suegra, mi hermana, cuñado, todos.
Vi también que preparaste unos chilaquiles.
Sí.
Y me acordé de la vez que me contaste de tus panquecas, porque hice la dimensión de eso también.
Sí, yo no soy cocinero.
Ya sé. Ya sé.
Ah, ok, y tú no sabes nadar, así que...
Yo no sé nadar. ¿Te acuerdas de eso? Perfecto.
Y dime si tú piensas que he mejorado mi español o no.
A ver.
A ver.
Hola, me llamo Greg de Gringo y estoy aquí con mi amiga Frida.
Eso es básicamente todo, pero...
Has mejorado un montón.
Gracias,
En
amigo.
ese momento hablabas como un robot.
Sí, y recuerdo que tuve que pensar en cada palabra, como tuve que pensar en mi nombre. Ok, yo soy Greg the... ¿Quién? Ok, Greg the Gringo. Y estoy... ¿Dónde estoy? Estoy aquí en Puerto Vallarta. Okay, I don't know. I feel like probably 2 or 3 months ago, I had even more confidence than I do now, and I don't know, now my palms are sweaty. So in one aspect, I feel like this goal was a huge failure. It was very black and white. I either studied every single day of the year, or I didn't, and I didn't. So that isn't great. However, to simply boil it down to that doesn't really make much sense. Learning a language isn't a black or white thing. It's constantly evolving, and I did improve my Spanish. So to look at myself or to feel like a failure because I simply didn't check off that part of the goal, wouldn't make sense and would really be selling myself short because I feel like I did improve my Spanish. maybe it was better 3 months ago, but that's okay. So the takeaway for you at home is whether you want to learn Spanish or you're trying to lose weight or build a business, you have these big goals, these big ambitions, you're going to slip up, you're going to fail, fail, hopefully not in whole, but in the micro, in a day-to-day, you're going to have a day that's bad. You're going to have a day that you might deem a failure. But as cheesy as it sounds, if you can just chug along, if you can add up more good days in a row than bad, even if you slip up every so often, once you look back over the course of months, years, or a year, or years, I think you'd really be surprised with how much progress you make. That is, as long as you don't beat yourself up like I do whenever you do have that day in which you mess up. So amigos, I hope that your Spanish journey is, I don't know, fun, prosperous, easier than my Spanish journey has been. I hope you found something valuable from this video. Until next time, have less, do more, be more.